Hi everyone, it's Kathy here from Grey Wonders, and today me and Hemptique are teaming up once again to bring you a Dreamcatcher tutorial. For this project you're going to need a few things. Number one is you are going to need some hemp cord, and I am using Hemptique's fairy cord, which is part of their magical collection, and it's a very beautiful cord because it's multicolored and there's a very pretty metallic string in there as well. So it's very fun and playful, and I am super excited to get to use that today. You're also going to need some kind of ring, and I'm just using this metal one. But you can use a different type of hoop as well. Just go to your local craft store and you'll find a wide variety, I'm sure. The other thing we're going to need is some ribbon. So you can use whatever color or pattern or material of ribbon you would like to use. You're also going to need some kind of fake flower. Now this is actually an optional step, so you don't have to use these if you don't want to. So that is totally your choice. And lastly, you're going to need some scissors and some hot glue if you decide to use the flowers. Now that you know what we're going to need to make this Dreamcatcher, let's just get right into it and get started. Alright, so our first step to making our Dreamcatcher is we're going to work on the web around our rings. Now, a lot of people like to wrap their rings in a fabric, but I personally like the way the metal hoop looks, so I'm gonna leave mine as is, but this is part of creative freedom for you guys, so if you wanna wrap it, you can do that, or you can leave it as is. And now we're going to take our fun little hemp cord, and we're going to measure about 10 feet of this cord. So once you measure your rope, I recommend just kind of bundling it together as neat as you can. This will just help you not get a tangled mess. So just kind of bunch it together as best you can, and then let's get started tying the Dreamcatcher web. The first step to this is we're just going to take the end and just tie a simple overhand knot around the ring. And I like to do a double knot just to make sure that it is secure. Now I'm going to start attaching it to the ring all the way around. So what I like to do is I first send it over the ring, and I hold kind of the point here so that you see a nice loop and there's tension, and I just send the bundle then under the ring and through that defined loop. And you're just gonna wanna pull it tight to give it tension, and it will look something like that. Now the amount of space you have between your first knot and your new knot is the amount of space you're going to want to continue having throughout the piece. So you want the spacing to be even. So if I did this much space, my next knot will be about here, and then so on. And so I'm just going to rotate my ring a little bit to make it easier. So then I'm going to send it over my ring, and I like to again pull kind of down so that I see the defined loop and there's tension. And I just send all my string under the ring and then through that loop. And again, I now pull it tight and try to place it so my spacing is even. Just like that. And now I just keep repeating this step. So once again, I'm going to rotate my ring just to make it a little easier. Pull down and my string goes over the ring. Then I'm going to take it under and through that loop and just give it a nice pull and place it so that the spacing is as even as I can make it. And I just am again repeating this all the way around the ring. When I come to do the last little section, I'm just going to make it so that the loop part comes and touches the first knot we started. this is what it looks like with the first row done. And now it's just a repeat of what we did, but instead of tying these knots around the hoop, we're tying them around each string that we just did. So again, I'm gonna kind of turn my ring just so I can see the first rope really well. So again, I'm just going to pull the tension down and send it over that first string here. Then I'm gonna go underneath it and go through the loop. And I'm going to center it onto that rope. So you do want to center it. And then I just pull it tight. Okay, so as you can see, I've made it around a second time. And now on my third pass, again, I'm going to go on the next layer of string. And this is the same process, and we're just doing this over and over again until our center is filled. So once again, I'm just going to hold all my ropes together in a bundle, and my rope's starting to get a little knotted, so just try to be careful because it's a pain once it's knotted, but we can all get through it together. So again, I'm just going to send it over the rope and around and just pull it tight, and again, I'm centering it on that string. I go to the next one and I go over and around and through, and I just pull it tight and center it. Okay, so once you start nearing the end, you'll notice that it gets harder and harder to kind of push your rope through each of the little holes. So once it starts to get a little difficult, that's when you know you can stop tying the webbing. And you can go all the way and close this completely, or you can leave a little bit of a hole inside. And to just finish this off, we're just going to tie another double knot around the rope where it ends. So I'm going to just trim off my excess rope so I don't have to fight with it. And I'm just going to tie a double knot right here where it ended. And I'm just going to then trim the end off right at the end so you can't even see it. And there you go. That is how you can make the webbed design on a Dreamcatcher. So now it's time to finish our Dreamcatcher by adding all those fun little ribbons and other kinds of ropes you have around. So I'm just gonna start with some white ribbon, and really there's no rule on how long to make your ribbons or anything. It's totally a personal preference. So just kind of eyeball it and lay it out and see how long you like it to lay. And then just cut it and we'll attach it with a lark's head knot. So to make a lark's head knot, I just fold my rope and ribbons and whatever right in half. And oh, I forgot. First, turn your Dreamcatcher so the very first knot we did is at the bottom. That way we can cover it up with our ribbons and stuff. So just make sure that little tail where you first started the knot is at the bottom so we can hide it. Now, to do the lark's head knot, again, I just fold my ribbons in half. I send it over the ring. You'll notice there's a loop right behind. And then I just pull the two ends through that loop. And I pull it tight. Just like that. And there you go. So this is my finished look of adding the ribbon. As you can see, I only did about this much of the ribbon. You don't want to go too far up, but you can go a little higher if you would like, or you can do less. And so this can either be your last step, or we can add extra fun touch by including flowers on one of the sides of our Dreamcatcher. Okay, so now I'm going to be using flowers to go around part of my Dreamcatcher. So this is where you'll need a hot glue or any other kind of really strong glue if you don't have hot glue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut off a few of these flowers and use that. Okay, so as my hot glue gun was warming up, I kind of just laid out a few of the flowers kind of to eyeball where I want them to go. And so now I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just start gluing them down. And I'm going to be very careful because hot glue is hot. So I like to just put it directly on the ring or ribbon and then carefully attach the plant. And there we go. And lastly, our very final step is to just tie a little ribbon up top so we can hang our Dreamcatcher from it. So I'm going to use this one, which was my little lace pink ribbon, which was my favorite I used. I had just a little left over, so that's what I'm going to use to tie mine from. And I'm going to make this just really simple. I'm just going to go under the ring and up top tie a knot so that I have a loop.